Good afternoon, my name is Ripura Hewicke. I am the garden manager of Steps for Children's Vegetable and Olive Plantation in Ongombonde. And today we are going to show you our garden and our operation here. You are going to see how we do things differently from other places. You are going to see how we have different approaches to very common problems and how we solve them. So you are welcome and we can take that journey. Let me show you the nursery. So here's our nursery, and this is where we start off all our seedlings. From vegetables, also with three seedlings. We start them off here, and when you look around, you will see vegetable seedlings on the tables. You will see some tree seedlings on the ground here. We have pomegranates, we have sand olives, we have fig, we have mulberry. All this we all started. We started off these seedlings in May, right at the beginning of winter, and we have a structure that I will show you there that allows us to do that. But the whole idea is to have this whole place covered with tree seedlings of many different kinds, meant for selling, so we can generate some income. And so the picture will be different in 2 weeks' time. And because the whole area will be covered by tree seedlings and vegetable seedlings, we decided that maybe to hand water will be quite difficult. So we installed an overhead irrigation in the nursery. When switched on, it sprays it showers the whole place. So everything gets wet at the same time and nothing needs to get dry because maybe somebody forgot to hand water a certain area. So that is that. And one of the other things that we also have in the nursery is the worm farm there, made of bamboo, repurposed bamboo that we cut in Okakarara at the Steps office. And we cut it every year, we bring it here, and we have always wondered what to use it for, but we decided to make a worm farm from it, and that is what we have there. So it's a 2-compartment worm farm. Right now they are feeding here, and once they have worked through all this material, we will put food here, fresh food scraps, vegetable residues, horse manure from Waterberg farm, and then the worms will move this side and then we will harvest. Right now you see that it's half, and that was done on purpose because we want to have a stall at the annual Okakarara Trade Fair where we want to showcase our products, and we want to get this manure. So that is why it's half. Once we get the little manure, once we get this one for selling, then we can fill it up nicely. If we fill it up now, then we can't have anything to show at the trade fair. Yeah. So this is the old, so just for comparison, this is the old worm farm, just a single tub. And this one is the new one. So it's about 4 or 5 times bigger, just this one compartment. So with both, it's about 10 times bigger than the original worm farm. Yeah. The garbage is burnt and the smoke is also burnt a second time. So it's only heat that is being released. Yeah. These are just a few citrus trees that we have here. And we also installed an automatic irrigation system, because also in the past we used to do it manually, and then somebody forgets to irrigate this week and then the trees go dry. So we installed a system where you just switch on the pump and then it starts watering. Yeah, so it's much more convenient. So this is our hot nursery. This is what allows us to start off seedlings early. And this is what I was talking about when I said we started off those 3 seedlings back in May, when just in the beginning of winter. But we could do that because we have this structure. It's made of bricks and we paint it black on the northern side. because that's where the sun moves during winter. So it absorbs a lot of heat during the day, and during the night it releases that heat slowly. So it's relatively much warmer inside. Even in winter, it's relatively much warmer inside than outside. So you can have -0 degrees Celsius outside, but then you will have 7 to 8 degrees Celsius higher in the hot nursery. Right now in here we have tomato seedlings, green pepper seedlings. The 3 seedlings, we took them out. These are the ones you see there. And these are destined to be planted in the garden, but also for selling. One of our product lines is vegetable seedlings, selling them to backyard gardeners, a little garden at home. We do this not only to generate some small money, but also to sensitize people to gardening and crop farming and balanced diets and nutrition and so on. So that is our line of thought, and that is what we are pushing for. We will talk a little bit later about how that is going, but for now we can continue with a tour. Yeah, and we have so we have pigs here. So part of being an organic regenerative farm, one of the principles of regenerative farming is livestock integration into the production system. And so people do that either with chicken, ducks, as we have pigs here. And so the whole idea is to let the livestock work the land, is to let the livestock dump their feces and urine on the production area. And we built this structure. We call it a pig tractor. Pig tractor because the pigs are inside it, and wherever you put it, the pigs will dig the soil with their snouts and will dig the soil with their hooves, and they will drop their feces there, they will drop their urine there, and the fertility will increase. But the challenge that we have is that this guy is too heavy. We made it strong because, one, the pigs are strong. They can bite through steel wire, like this type of wire. So there was a challenge with moving it around and so on. So we decided to just keep it here, but then now use it as a deep litter system. A deep litter system is a system where you have animals sort of in an enclosed area, and then you give the animals bedding, like we have given it grass now. So they will drop their feces and urine on that bedding, and then we add. Once it's up to a certain level, we take that material and we use it to make compost. And that compost, we use it in the garden. So that it's still part of livestock integration, it's still part of regenerative farming. Yeah. This is our compost making area. We make compost with whatever we can find around, or any organic matter that we can find around, we use to make compost. Anything that is left from harvesting in the garden, we use to make compost. All grass lying around, if we prune our trees, we also take that, run it through the chipper, and then use that to make compost. And this compost we use in the garden as a soil amendment to improve the soil fertility and the microorganism activity. So this is all our compost. And maybe while we are also here, we can talk about the biochar that you see there. We have biochar standing there mixed with cattle manure to charge it. Biochar is basically just it's a product that comes from burning woody material in a form where you maintain its architecture without burning it completely, without burning it to a point where it releases the carbon into the atmosphere. So it is a very valuable product because it captures the carbon in the char. It captures many other gases and elements that would otherwise go into the atmosphere and contribute to global warming and climate change. You trap it into the char. But it becomes now valuable for the garden because it has an ability to absorb a lot of moisture, and with the moisture, it also absorbs nutrients and minerals. So the absorption of nutrients and minerals and water is what we call charging. That is what you do when you are charging the biochar. You give it water, you give it some source of nutritious manure, and then it absorbs that those nutrients from the manure and the water. And once it is charged, you can take it into the garden, work it into the land, and your plants will get into the char, because it has tiny holes and passages where the moisture is and where the minerals are, and it can start absorbing from that. And also no leaching. It doesn't matter how much it rains, it doesn't matter how much you over irrigate, the nutrients stay in the char, they don't wash away. Yeah. We can have a look at the greenhouse. So this is the greenhouse. The greenhouse is a more of a, it's not open like outside, it's more of a protected area. Protection from birds and insects and squirrels and so on. And we grow our sensitive crops in here, like the cabbage, like spinach. We grow them inside here. And it's also nice because it has a cooling system that can, because it in summer it gets very hot, and some of the vegetables like cabbage, spinach, and beetroot, for example, who are originally cold season crops, they suffer in that heat. So that's why we grow them in here, because we have a cooling system that sprays a fine mist just to cool the whole thing down. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to make the garden, maybe, I don't know, I don't want to be too ambitious to say profitable, but we want income generation, at least higher than what we have now. And that is why we have, when you look around, you will see a lot of production. Even though it's small, it's growing, it's coming. We have cabbage, we have a lot of spinach at the moment, we have a lot of carrots that will be market ready. And either we supply that to our soup kitchens or to the market in Okakarara. Yeah.
What means market, Okakarara?
We are talking about places like Choppies, the retailer, and then also we have informal vendors that we can also sell to, and then they can resell, and also to just the community, the average guy passing by.
And people are coming here to buy something?
Yeah, people are coming.
It's well known here in Okakarara?
It's not well known. Funny enough, it's not well known, and that is one of our missions. We want to create awareness. Because when we started with the vegetable seedlings and the vermicompost, selling it, so we go to Okakarara with the seedlings and the compost, and we start selling, and then people are saying, where do you guys do these things? No, we do it in Ongambomonde. There's a garden there. You know, I mean, half the people don't know that they know there's a steps, maybe there's a kindergarten, but they don't know that there's a garden.
Maybe one day you can invite them.
Yes, no, right now we are busy creating a lot of awareness. We are busy with a lot of awareness campaigns, showing people our products, and the annual Okakarara Trade Fair will also be a perfect opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How do I say it? So we since June up to the end of this year, we want to grow 5.5 tons across all product lines, 5.5 tons of vegetables. So what you see now, it's just a contributing number to that figure. So now we have about 4 beds of cabbage, and that is about I think 800 to 900 kilograms. We have spinach. We have about 6 beds of spinach. That's also another 300 to 400 kilograms. So it's sort of hard to say how many kilograms do we have right now, but we have a number that we want to hit, that we want to reach, and that is what we are pushing for. But to tell you now, on this 35-meter bed of cabbage, this is easily about 250 to 300 kilograms of cabbage. The water from the spraying system, yeah, we use it, but right now it's not working. The sensor broke. It has a sensor that detects when it's too hot, and when it's too hot, the system kicks off automatically. We are now busy looking for another one. Yeah. Bak, we just do the Panama or to Bogato for a Rukwao. We have a drip irrigation system. So this is the agroforest. This is the food forest now where we are standing, and we use a drip irrigation system. In the past, we used what we call a closed drip irrigation system, where you had stoppers at the end of the irrigation. And one of the problems we had with that was that we had a lot of pipe bursts because pressure is pushing, and then we also have a lot of calcium. Is it calcium carbonate? Calc. Yeah, we have a lot of calcium carbonate that from the borehole water that builds up into the drip irrigation, and because it is closed at the end, it builds up, and then towards the end, water doesn't drip. So then we thought, now how best can we deal with that? And then we thought of, why don't we make an open irrigation system where the water doesn't get a stop but just continues flowing. And that is what we did. So at the end of the drip line, we put in some elbows and some T connections. So now the water goes into the drip irrigation and then just cycles, continues flowing. It doesn't stop, and because it's flowing continuously, the calcium carbonate doesn't settle down to clog the drip holes, because it's in suspension, it's flowing constantly. So we find it to be very helpful, because in the past, all our planting beds towards the end were always just dry. But now this one looks a bit funny because of the birds. Because there's a lot of movement because we are moving up and down in the garden, and not so much this side. So they eat a lot. They eat mostly at the end of the bed. But if you look closely, you will see that water is dripping everywhere, and that is the benefit of. So the idea worked, and we are happy because of that. Yeah, mola sambo naimban. Naimbono, naimba ya. Makok tatu. Yeah, we can take a walk. So here you can see our onion growing nicely. If you look here, you have a nice bulbing onion here that will be ready very soon for harvest. We have a smaller batch here. It's smaller, so there will be continuous production constantly. We won't run out of onions, we won't run out of carrots, spinach or anything, because while we have one that is growing, that is almost harvest ready, we have another one that is coming up, and then we have another one that is coming up. So we want to maintain that continuous production. Yeah. So we also do a lot of mulching here. When you look where we are stepping now, you can see that there's mulch, there's cover. When you look in the tree lines, you can also see that there's mulch, there's cover, and that is from the olive prunings that we prune and then let fall down and then covers the soil. A lot of the things also, you will see some old maize stalks that we also grew here, and then once we harvested the grain, we cut the residue and also use it as mulch. Another interesting thing that you will also see while we are standing here is the concept of intercropping, planting two vegetables together. Here you see onion and carrots planted on the same bed, and that has a lot of benefits. First of all, they are companion plants, they support each other, they help each other in many different ways. And secondly, it's also for pest management, because when you intercrop, it sort of confuses pests, because it will smell a carrot and come to the carrot, but when it gets there, there's a strong onion smell, and then it will go away. So it's also a pest management technique that we use here, intercropping. Yeah. So you can already see from where we are standing that you see different types of vegetables. You see beetroot there, and then you see carrot, not so much because we harvested it, and then you see onion, and then you see spinach, and as we move on you will see more and more. So we have quite a lot of variety in terms of the types of vegetables that we plant, and we have different sizes. So we are still so we want to continue the production cycle and not let it end. So that's why we have bigger beetroot, and then smaller, and then smaller, and then smaller, just to continue that cycle. Yeah. And maybe the one thing I forgot to mention regarding the mulching and the cover of the soil is that once you prune and then you let what you prune fall down and cover the soil, it protects the soil from the sun. You reduce the evaporation rate, so you keep your water in the soil, and then also the organic matter that falls there decomposes over time, and then also goes back into the mineral cycle, into the nutrient cycle, and then it decomposes and then becomes food for the next crop that you plant. So it's all about ecological cycles here. That is the one thing that we want to maintain and we want to upholding ecological cycles. That is how you will make the system resilient and self-sustainable. Yeah. So you might see a lot of empty beds. They are not empty because we don't know what to plant there. They are empty for now because we have tomatoes and green pepper that are going to come, that we are going to plant on those beds. So it takes planning. You just don't plant, you plan so that you always have space for whatever you need to plant. Yeah. Another thing worth mentioning in our production system is that we want to mimic natural forests in terms of how we do our operations. So there's a concept called syntropic agriculture. Syntropic agriculture is where it's a line of thought that says things grow harmoniously together and different things support each other. It's not just competition. It's not a monoculture mentality where you think, if I plant onion with carrots, maybe they will compete and fight each other and maybe they won't do so good. No, we are in syntropy, not entropy. So we think that energy accumulates and that energy from different species support each other. That is why we plant a lot of variety of things. And that is what we do in our tree lines also, not only the vegetable beds, but in the tree lines you will see many different species of many different trees and plants. And that is because we know, it's hard to see it, but we know that there is a support system going on with diversity. So our strength is in numbers, but not only the same numbers, in diversity. So this area,
it's steps area.
Yeah, it's steps area. It's about 18 hectares. That side. The plan so we are in the communal areas as we are standing here. It's the communal areas. It's open land. It's not commercial, privately owned land. It's owned by the community, and because it's open land, there is a lot of overgrazing by the livestock. There is little control. We cannot control the grazing because it's open land. So we have one of the consequences of overgrazing is bush encroachment. So bushes take over the veld, take over the rangeland, and then animals cannot move through the rangeland anymore because the bush is so thick. They can't move around to get food. And also the grasses cannot grow because the bushes outcompete them, completely cut them out. So that is the problem that we're having in the communal areas, not only here, but all around. So now our thinking is to say, why don't we try to find a template for rehabilitating rangelands in communal areas using our own 18 hectares. And through that, we can now sensitize the surrounding community to say, listen guys, look at what we did. And we want to use their livestock, by the way. So one of the ways of rehabilitating rangeland is through livestock. It's almost the only way you can do it anyway. It's through using livestock, but then do it in a controlled way. So we want to use our neighbors' livestock, and through using their livestock, they will see the results, because we will come show them, listen, we put in 20 animals in this camp for 5 days. Look at how it's looking like now. And then look at how it's looking like after 3 months, after 6 months, after a year. We measure the carrying capacity. Look at, is it increasing, is it decreasing? So they will have first-hand experience, first-hand visual evidence to say, is it working or is it not working? We know that it will work because it has been done, but it hasn't been done in communal areas as much as in commercial areas. So we are willing to use this plot of ours as a test site for communal farmers, and we will walk hand in hand with them, and they will see how the rangeland improves over time, and how the bush will die back slowly, and how the grasses will come back, and then they will tell their neighbors, and those neighbors will tell their other neighbors, and then in 10 years' time, everybody will be doing what we are doing, and the situation will improve. So now, since we had very good rains this year, and since those rains, we haven't had any livestock in there, and we want to keep it that way until just before the next rainy season. So once we get livestock in there again, they will trample on the grass, because all those grasses are now carrying seeds, you know. They have grown fully, and some of the seed is now being blown away by the wind onto the ground. So when we get animals in there, they will eat the grass, but then also with their hooves, they will be planting those grass seeds. They will be planting those grass seeds. And then also, we won't allow the animals to completely eat the grass. They will eat up to a certain level, and then we take them out. So then when the rain comes, what will happen is that you have an already existing grass plant, and then you have also seeds that are planted around it. So it will become denser. And now imagine if you do that in a period of 5 years, how much more dense does it become? How many more animals can you produce from the same piece of area? It multiplies, you know, and that is the thinking. Yeah. So very soon we want to build, first of all, we want to build a processing area for the garden, where when we harvest, we can wash our vegetables and package them and store them. We want to build an area like that. And second to that, we also want to build staff accommodation. We have some now, but it's old, and it's not convenient and suitable anymore, because, you know, some staff members are having children, some are getting partners, and the space that they have now is just not enough. So when you look at this area here, we plan on building a minimum of 3 houses, 2-bedroom to 3-bedroom houses for our staff. This year, should be this year. They will start this year. We got I don't know if I can say this about the lease. So we have a leasehold, we have a lease title deed to lease this land for the next 99 years, and that allows us to be able to put up such infrastructure, because we have the assurance and the guarantee that we won't be chased away, because it's communal land, as I said. It's owned by the community, but we applied for a 99-year leasehold, and it was approved, and now Steps can really start thinking about developing the place more, because we have a warranty, we have a guarantee that we will be here for the next 99 years. Yeah. So this is the area for the new houses. We have various entrances also to the premises, not only the one you came through. We have about another 2 on the front. So there will be access to the houses from that side also. So the current staff members that we are 5 permanent employees here, and 2 of them are from this community, and they don't come from far. They are born here, they were raised here. So the other 3 staff members, one is from the northern side of Namibia, in the Kavango region. The other one is from the Hewicke region, on the eastern side. And then myself, the other one, I am about 100 kilometers east of here also. So we are not from here. So those are the people that we are thinking about of accommodating in the staff houses. So for now we are 3. So we will build a minimum of 3 houses, maybe 4, but I think the lowest number is 3, just to accommodate the staff members. So, and these staff members, myself, I have 2 kids and a girlfriend, maybe one day a wife, if God willing. And so I will be like a family of 4, you know. And the other staff member, Cecilia, has a small daughter, and so they are 2. Maybe she also gets a boyfriend or a husband. So it's 3 to 5. That is what you see. Yeah. In 10 years, really, I would want to see this place operating at 100% potential. I would want to see it being a prominent organization in terms of agriculture, a place of learning, a place of success, and really a place of where people can come and be inspired. So I'm not only talking about the vegetables, but even with a tree production. I want to see us growing fruit trees that also generate income, but then that also support the agriculture system. I want to see us producing vegetables, supplying not only Okakarara, but many other towns with organic, nutrient-dense produce. Yeah, definitely. So because we are a regenerative agroforest, we have to integrate animals. So one of the future plans is to have at least 3 types of animals. We have already the pigs. We want to get poultry, maybe chicken or ducks. And then we also want something in the maybe goats or cattle, just enough to support our system, because we need manure to make compost. We need manure to increase our fertility. So getting that manure from outside, first of all, it needs to be transported, so that's fuel. And then secondly, maybe you also need to pay those people for what they are giving you. So it's expensive over time. In the long term, it's expensive to get manure from outside. So the vision is to produce our own manure, and that is it's a very valuable resource for us here, the manure. So yes, we would want to have livestock so that we can get that manure, so that those livestock can help us in our production. Where will the income come from?
Yeah.
You see, Michael, I think the first challenge of not making money is not having the produce. Before you can look for the market, and before you can look for contract agreements, you need to have the produce. And that is what we are doing now. We want to have the produce, from the vegetables to the vegetable seedlings that we are selling, to the vermicompost that we also want to sell. We want to have these things ready, market ready. And then that is now when we will start looking for, guys, come by. We have what you need. It's there. The problem, and that is one thing that I was thinking that we will also discuss later, is that in as much as we want to be regenerative, organic, and we want to be cautious about what we do, we also need to make the projects self-sustainable. Otherwise, it's an expense, it's a liability. Why keep it? So that is why we want to push production. We are going to push production through regenerative approaches. We are not going to switch back to conventional agriculture. We're not going to switch back to culture, agriculture. We are going to maintain what we are doing, but then just have the produce ready, have the onions ready, have the carrots ready, have the beetroot ready, and then you start looking for clients and tell them, guys, you can see for yourself. They are the cabbages, they are the carrots, they are the onions, and then you can now start talking about prices and other things.
It means we have to invest for some more years.
Yeah, but what I can say in terms of further investment is that it's not gonna be considerable. I don't think we are going to have to put in more and more resources for us to get the result that we want. We just need to change our mindset from a very cautious, from being too cautious to being, what do you call it? Being brave, you know, just doing it. Yeah. And it will show. It will show for us who, like for me, a farmer, I can see it. Even in what we have now, I can see it working. So it's just for us to also make you see it. Yeah. So that is the end of our tour. We have showed you our area and what we do, and we have spoken a little bit about this and that. Usually with systems like ours, it would take you a whole week for us to talk and finish all our discussions. But because we are operating under a short schedule of time, we just touched here and there. But that is the whole, it's what we do. It's an idea of what we do. I think it will give you an idea of what we do here. You have seen our different approaches in our farming system, and hopefully when we make another video like this, you will see something bigger and much more different and much more successful. Then you will have another picture. Yeah. Thank you for coming to see what we do, and see you again.